Post 1 hour run, we had 3 eggs, 250 grams of egg whites, the egg white blend I was talking about, cinnamon raisin bread, and then we also had ketchup on the eggs. I'm from Pennsylvania. Heinz is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I love ketchup. Must be a Pennsylvania thing. I'm also running the Pittsburgh Half Marathon, so if I drop this before the half marathon, hope to see you guys out there. So we just had breakfast. I want to come on here and just talk about what this YouTube video is going to be real quick. So we're going to go into the nutrition right now, but I'm also going to talk about how my training has changed, as well as just a life update. I haven't posted here in a while, so I just want to kind of share where I'm at with things. When I or some people eat, they like to have big portions. So they know that. So they'll save up calories for like later on in the day. And while that can work, it's not really a sustainable approach, because long term, your body needs fuel to perform. If I used to fast until like 11 o'clock and then eat my meal, and then I had trained before during that fasted state, I'd be super hungry and I would overconsume lunch, overconsume dinner, and then overconsume at night. And then my total calories would be way up here, but I thought I was doing myself a favor by fasting as a way to get leaner and maintain muscle. And in reality, it did the opposite. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. Because they get busy, they don't want to meal prep or whatever. And that, to each of their own, it can work. I still like to have something now in the morning than just fasting. So I'll have a protein shake in the morning, my protein coffee, the BPN whey isolate that I show you guys. I'll have that when I wake up or after my run. For my runs, I'll always fuel that, but I'm not making that mistake of just pushing off all calories and most calories to the evening. So even lunch, I'll try to eat like a bigger lunch and a bigger breakfast, and then eat lighter for dinner, even though conventionally that's not typically what people like to do. You do, in my opinion, get better results for performance and just mental health because you'll sleep better. Typically, people that eat a ton of food before they go to bed, they do sleep, so they could fall asleep easy, but they don't get good quality of sleep because your body's trying to digest food as you're sleeping, so it's not really resting. So you never fall into that parasympathetic state. Your sympathetic nervous system is always kind of going. So moral of the story, as far as nutrition goes, what I've changed over the years, and it's really been beneficial, is not having like a huge breakfast, but having like something in the morning that has at least 30 to 40 grams of protein. So that's my protein coffee. And then before my training sessions, having carbs. That doesn't have to be a carb powder. That could be a banana or something. And then eating a bigger lunch, maybe a bigger meal after that in between lunch and dinner. And then dinner being your smaller meal. And that's helped me a ton from not over consuming at night and banking all my calories for me to just go crazy. So that's like the first thing I wanted to share that I've really been practicing over the years. And as I look back, it made a huge difference in my performance. All right, so I'm midway through my stretching routine. I want to talk about how my training is going to change. So as you see, I'm stretching. So just to give you a kind of like an idea of what training looks like during the week, it's push pull legs and maybe a push and pull day. So like a 4-day lifting split. And then it is running every other day. So if I lift Monday, I'll run Tuesday, and that's typically an hour long. On days where I don't run, if you've seen my videos before, I take a weighted vest and I walk. And I'm just not so focused on, creating this huge endurance engine. I'm trying to focus more on functionality and just being capable to move in new fashions. And I just want to be more athletic for life. I've gotten so stiff. Like, for example, when I go like this, you guys can't really see, but I'm so tight here on my hip right here. And that's everywhere. It's been so hard for me to just do anything because most of my 6-year career as, if you want to say, being an athlete, I have gotten extremely tight. And it's just due to not stretching, not taking care of myself, not ever putting myself in challenging positions. So I'm trying to open myself up by doing that, and my weight training is going to change. I'm going to start using kettlebells. I'm going to start using dumbbells in a more functional way, not just push-pull legs. I'm still going to do push-pull legs, but I'm going to add in those things of functionality, of different movements, moving in such a way that it helps me, with everything. Because if I'm being honest with you, the other day I went to sit down with my fiance on the floor and I couldn't even get into a crisscross position because I'm so tight. And that's been the story of my life for the past 6 years. It seems like after I started powerlifting and bodybuilding and then going into endurance, arguably endurance made me tighter. I've gotten worse and worse, and it just becomes hard to do things and feel good, right? Because you're always tight. Your body's like a ball of stress. And even something simple like I was doing basement work over the winter, and I was changing out outlets, and I couldn't bend over because my back was so tight and my hamstrings were so tight. I would get pain. And stretching has helped me de-stress a lot physically, but also mentally, and also just help my running, help my training. And that's why soon, as I get more flexible, I'm going to add in, again, more of the dynamic strength training. So like kettlebell work, some plyometrics, things of that nature. So that way I'm just able to live life as an athlete, not just be an athlete at running and lifting heavy. So that these are only going to help doing that, but it's also going to allow me to do other things. So that's kind of how my training is going to change. I'm just sharing that with you on how my outlook has changed, because I used to think stretching was pointless, young and naive and dumb. But I realize it's actually not. It's super responsible. And here's the thing. I'm only 26 years old, and this is the furthest range of motion my hips go, and a lot of other things don't move that well. So I got some work to do. And since I'm still new to stretching, it hurts even to get in a simple form. Like my fiance can sit like this, no problem. And right now it is killing me, but it's humbling. It's a different way of fitness. And I'm looking forward to get more flexible and just a better athlete in that aspect. The reason I'm pulling down running and just keeping weight training at the same, running is super hard on the body if you don't give yourself a rest and a break. And, I definitely need to do that just because of the things I've been feeling, which again, I'm going to talk about here soon. So yeah, just going to wrap up the stretching. We'll continue on with the vlog and get into that. I'm super uncomfortable right now. This hurts. All right. So I wanted to give you guys a life update. I haven't posted on here for about a month, and I just feel like, I just kind of owe it to you guys to tell you guys what's going on. So some exciting things is there's some business stuff going on in the background that I can share here soon, and I'm excited for. And the other things are just a lot of life changes and things going on in my personal life. As far as life changes go, I, for the longest time, have been, and I've talked about this, but signing up for race after race. And, maybe you guys can relate, maybe you can't, maybe you will one day. I don't know. Maybe you've already been there, but you get to a point where we all have like these chapters in our life where like our identity was rooted in something that isn't sustainable. Like, so for me, it was just like basically trying to be a superhero at all times, like, or a super athlete, just trying to like crush every race possible and everything that I set my mind to. And, I still plan to do races and document that in the future, but I had struggled for sure when I kind of decided not to do that again and decided to slow down a little. And it sounds maybe dumb, but it's been so hard to figure out. Like, it became so comfortable for me and I became blind to like what it was doing in my life. Like, I would push myself so hard that like I didn't care what really happened to myself or like my mental health. Like, I would train all day outside of like my work, my online coaching work. And I didn't care what it did to me mentally. I didn't care what it did to me physically, of just slowly breaking myself down, because it was kind of glorified, and it still is to a certain degree on social media. Like, it's glorified to like, this person does this or trains this much. Like, it does take a lot of discipline. I will admit that. It's admirable. It really is. But then when you peel back the curtains, for myself personally, what it was doing wasn't admirable in long term. Because what I was doing was setting me up to get to the point where I am today, which is, man, I think I reached burnout. I've never believed in that before, but I do believe I got here. And I think I got here from a variety of things that you guys might not know about. One, I never took a break. On paper, I didn't sign up for a lot of races compared to some people sign up every weekend. I signed up for 2 races a year, but on those 2 races, I trained so hard that there was like pretty much zero doubt that I was going to fail unless I got injured. And that's pretty much what I did. Everything I did, I pretty much accomplished. Obviously, I got hurt during my first sub 3 hour marathon, broke my foot a week before. But other than that, like, yeah, I don't think there wasn't a race where I didn't do what I wanted to. And it was because I physically put myself in a position where I trained so hard that like, yeah, there's going to be doubt, always doubt in your head that, hey, can I do this or not? But like, I was pretty confident that, I was going to earn that accomplishment. And that was great and all, but when you don't give yourself any time or your body any time to like de-stress and, I don't know, be healthy, because your body's not meant to be pushed that hard. And I did this for like 5 years, 6 years. Something's going to catch up. And for me, I started developing like some really bad stomach issues, like 2 weeks before my Ironman. During my Ironman, actually, like they kind of triggered, whether that was from like race conditions, I don't know. But I got the same stomach bloating and pain. And then for about a month and a half after, I kind of talked about it in the YouTube video, I got severe stomach issues to the point where, I would just be laying in bed and my stomach would turn on me, and it was like the worst pain in my life. And I went to so many doctors, couldn't find anything. And eventually that resolved. And I do think it was just stress. I think my body was that stressed out that my gut was like stressed, because your mind and body, your mind and your gut are connected. So that was like the first thing. And then I started getting like chronic fatigue, where like I was tired all the time. Like I couldn't like do anything easy. And at this point, like I was so far removed from like doing the Ironman, everything just felt hard, and I wasn't training as much, not nearly as much. And I just like kind of was sad, and I didn't really know why. And I kind of like tied it to like losing my identity and like training and changing my life priorities in that way. So I was like, okay, this is probably what I'm feeling. But in reality, like the more I'm removed from it, the more I realize like I was just so stressed out and overtrained that it's taken me to this point to kind of feel normal. And that's what I want to say here is I'm not saying like these races are bad. I think everybody should go out there and push themselves to the best that they can. Like I've had amazing experiences. I continue and plan to do these things in the future, but I'm no longer going to put myself through that. It's serious. Like what you do to yourself, for me anyways, I can't, maybe some people can do it, but for me, it took a large toll on me and I'm still trying to crawl out of the hole. And whether that was like, you hear of red S, you hear of like these syndromes where, you know, I was very calorically restricted and sometimes I didn't even try. It just, I was training so much. Most of the time you guys see me on this camera, I'm shredded. I'm not shredded anymore. And that's for a reason, because I had to put on body fat and weight just to feel normal again. Like I went to all the doctors and that's what I was told to do. So, you know, I did it. And, again, I'm feeling normal-ish, but I'm totally not back to where I once was. And I just want to be open and transparent about like, I'm not like a robot. Like I've been struggling for sure, and I'm just slowly crawling out of the dark hole. And I just want to spread like some sort of awareness, like just because maybe you have to pull back in one area of your life doesn't mean you're weak. Doesn't mean, you know, you're less of a man or a person or a woman. Like, you know, there's things that sometimes happen for a reason. Who knows what would have my life or my health would have looked like if I would have kept hammering. I do think it's just important to take a step back and try to like not be so hard on ourselves and to focus on like people around you, doing things that make you happy, having hobbies outside of maybe fitness, if like fitness is your only outlet. I guess for me, just being a little more well-rounded in terms of like where I put my energy, and try not to go race after race just to feel something like accomplished. And there's a reason why I kept signing up after race is because these things don't give you much fulfillment until you do it again. It's like a drug. Don't fall down into that trap, I guess I should say, if you can. Because there's more downside than you would believe. It's not sunshine and rainbows. But I do think it still is important to push yourself. And I think it's great to sign up for races. Just make sure you take some time to yourself and enjoy life and not be so hard on yourself to always be reaching for that next thing, whether that's in work or life. Because, you know, you're on a fast rocket ship, and what goes up is going to come down eventually. And if you put all your marbles into that one thing going up, where does that leave you? Right? So just try not to be that rocket ship going a million miles an hour. I think a more steady approach is what I'm saying. But anyways, that's what I want to talk about, life update. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap up the YouTube video. And yeah, I think that's it.